and welcome back to my channel, Drunk Crafts with Paige. I am Paige, and I am drinking our regularly scheduled cider this week. So last week we played around with a tumbler. We painted it a brand new color, did a nice glitter ombre, and gave it a good resin coat. And afterwards, my fiance asked me to modify one of his tumblers. So we're going to be doing another tumbler this week, but with some differences. So if you would like to see how that turns out, please stick around. And I realized I never introduced our newest member of the family. This is Stevie. She is much more docile and lets me hold her more than Ozzy does. You say hi? Close enough. So this tumbler that we're going to be modifying this week is the same exact tumbler that I did last week. It's just my fiance's. And so our first few steps are going to be exactly the same thing. We're going to be giving it a nice good sanding, get all the vinyl lettering off. We're gonna wash it with warm soap and water. We're also gonna hit it with some rubbing alcohol to remove any greasy fingerprints. And then we're gonna go about spray painting it. Now for this tumbler, we are going to be using alcohol inks for our design. This is something I have never done before, and I have seen people do alcohol inks into resin, but as I stated in our first tumbler video, our first attempt, I don't have one of those fancy cup rotator things, and that allows the resin to stay on and for the alcohol ink to disperse much better. So for this one, we are actually just gonna try to put, kind of like our bookmarks on the fancy paper, we're gonna be putting the alcohol ink on it, trying to use the rubbing alcohol and blowing it around, and when it's all done and dried, we're gonna seal it before we resin coat it. But seeing as this is not a flat surface, we'll just have to see how this goes. I have the colors I chose for this one, because this cup is going to my fiance. This cup is still painted the same satin cactus green, and we are going to be doing dark colors still along the bottom, kind of like what we did with the glitter, but we're going to be using various shades of blue and green and maybe some of the black and potentially some of the metallic silver. We'll see how that shows up, but I guess let's give this a go. What color do I want to try first? We'll try, this one is cerulean blue. Okay. And we also have my heat gun here again to assist in the blowing out and drying of the ink. So it did indeed kind of want to slip down the side, but it spread pretty well. Let's see if I can. This is gonna be like a balancing game. Woo! Maybe let's, on the total opposite side, let's do another small dot. Let's try one of these greens. This one is just called green. I'm going to try to put some a little bit higher up because it seems like the alcohol ink and the rubbing alcohol would rather wrap around the mug rather than travel up it. So I think I'm going to try it a little higher up. I'd like for this design to go maybe halfway up. So I'm basically just gonna keep on layering. And then maybe let's go ahead and try to put some of the silver on here. See if we can get any of that to stick. There, I think I'm gonna call it good. I've got silver in various places. I've got lots of greens and blues, and I think it's really pretty. As I mentioned before, it was very difficult to try to get the design to not consistently just be skinny lines spreading out from either side. I sort of had to like balance and wobble the cup around to get it where I wanted it, the like alcohol ink to travel to. But how pretty. So I'm gonna leave this to sit probably just for 24 hours until the alcohol ink is dry. I'm going to use the same kind of sealer, a non-alcohol based sealer, to seal the alcohol ink once it is all dry. And then once the sealer is dry, then we're gonna move on to the resin part. Our tumbler is totally dry now. Here's our beautiful colors. So pretty. I'm actually very surprised at how well the alcohol ink ended up turning out on this tumbler. And after the alcohol ink dried, I went and sprayed it a couple times with a light coat of this Krylon Kamar varnish, just like I did with our alcohol ink bookmarks. This is just a nice finish that doesn't have any alcohol in it, so it's not gonna ruin your alcohol ink. So our next step is going to be resin. And I have already mixed up a small amount here in this cup, and just like our last cup, we're gonna slowly drizzle some on. I'm gonna use my hand to distribute it, and still don't have one of those magnificent cup turners. However, because this doesn't have the rough glitter surface, we probably won't need several coats. This one coat of resin will do the trick. So we're just gonna go ahead and add our resin. just as before with our glitter tumbler, I am trying to be diligent about getting the resin all the way down to the bottom and all the way up to the very top. Our whole cup is now covered in resin, and I'm going to prop it up as straight as I can possibly get it because I want the resin to stay on in a nice even coat. And we're just gonna let the resin dry like that, and we will come back to see our finished product when it's dry. It's kind of a gloomy, droomy day today, but we are outside and we're gonna take an up-close look at how our tumbler turned out. Here it is. This turned out so cool for being alcohol ink on a non-flat surface. We've got the silver, the blues, the greens, even the black you can see in there. It just turned out so beautifully. And I do have a little section at the top where the tape kind of ripped off a little bit of my resin that I'll have to fix. But how cool is this? Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy your holiday weekend and that you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave a like and even subscribe to the channel. The links for my Instagram and my Facebook page are down in the description box below, as well as my PayPal if you would like to contribute to the channel. I'll see you guys all for the next video.